Mataji, the whole name.
Palika Padmadani.
Palika Padmakanda.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Pranams to you. So, Bhagavad Pravaha. Today will be the last session of 11th Canto. 11th Canto, 11th.
Mataji, you are on mute.
Did you hear anything at all, Mataji?
No, Mataji.
From where did I stop talking to you?
You said in 11th Canto and then.
Oh, okay. That's not bad. Thank you. Yeah. So we heard the overview of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then how Srimad Bhagavatam is Lord Krishna himself, and then the Sankshipta Bhagavatam, summary of Srimad Bhagavatam, just in 1 hour. Then first canto, second canto, third canto, fourth canto, fifth canto, sixth canto, seventh canto, eighth canto, ninth canto, 10th canto, 11th canto. We are in 11th canto. How very mercifully Bhagavatam has brought us this far. Today is the last session of the 11th canto. Mukti. This is the subject matter of Mukti. There is something. Okay, we'll leave it like that. So in Mukti, in the 11th canto, we heard about the setting the scene for the destruction of Yadu dynasty. That was in the beginning of the 11th canto. Today, we're going to hear about that, the very end of the 11th canto. So after that, the Maharaj Nimi speaking to, Maharaj Nimi hearing from the Navayogendras. And then after the demigod's prayers, then Uddhava Gita started, one after the other. The Karma Kanda, first the logic, Nyaya, and then the Karma Kanda, Varnashrama Dharma. Then after that, in the last session, we heard about the Sankhya Yoga also. We heard about the Ashtanga Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, yeah, all of those. And we heard about the Avanti Brahmana and Aila Gita, those also, right? Today we are going to hear about the deity worship, yeah, deity worship, and again about how Lord Krishna is summarizing Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and saying that the Bhakti Yoga is the best. And the third one is the disappearance of the Lord from this on Earth planet. Dear devotees, just please give me a second for that's better. Yeah. Yes. The charging part. So we will hear about that. So now we are going to hear about the deity worship. Yeah. So what happened was in the last session, after Lord Krishna spoke about Aila Gita, he glorified the devotees, right? We will enter into the PowerPoint, but before we get into the PowerPoint is much more about the procedural aspect of deity worship, but we want to hear about why deity worship in first place, the purpose of deity worship, and then we will enter into the PowerPoint, okay? So regarding the deity worship, so after describing about the glories of the devotees in the last session, Lord Krishna, the link between the last session and this session is it's not easy to do the Bhakti Yoga without the association of the devotees. And not only the devotees, but for the grihasthas, how is this deity worship important? At home, we have the deities, right? So how is deity worship important for the grihasthas? That we will hear today. Just to have an overview, the purpose of deity worship. See, especially for us, the grihasthas. Grihasthashramam is so much filled with agitation. Yeah, tamoguna, rajoguna, because of lot of I and my attachment. I and my family, like that. So there is a lot of turbulence in the griha. So in order to bring down that turbulence, the Lord has come to our home and he sits on the altar. That way, we all can see that he is the Lord. He is the master of the house. And so the I-ness and minus can come down. When the I-ness minus comes down, then the turbulence, the passion and ignorance also comes down. When we see the Lord as the master of the house, like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his songs, he sings, right? Oh Gopinath, you are the master. All that I have, all that is mine, I am offering that to you. This house, this family, this body, everything that is mine is yours, Gopinath, for that. Yeah. So in order to make our home Krishna-centered, griha Krishna-centered, the deities are there. So the deities are the masters of our house. So that's first reason, to take away that aham mameti from us, to make the whole house Krishna centered. That's one thing. Second reason is to do the deity worship. We need a certain basic standards. We have to be clean and punctual, and then offer the worship, aarti or abhishek or bhoga, something. So all this deity worship demands one to be punctual, to be clean, to be regular. So imagine doing the deity worship like 3 times a day or 5 times a day in case of Shri Radha Krishna worship, like that. 3 or 5 times a day, you have to be attentive to the deities. Cook for them, offer them, and early in the morning, wake them up, do the aarti, offer the bhoga, and then again in the afternoon, and then again in the evening. So when our life is centered, the deity is centered, it becomes very disciplined. It's not like, oh, I don't feel like cooking, I will not cook today. It will not be the case. We have to cook for the deities, right? Like that. And it's not like, oh, I just don't feel like showering again. No. We have to shower again to do the aarti for the deities, like that. And it's not like, oh, I just want to sleep for a very long time today. No, it's time to worship the deities. So in this way, deity worship demands us to be on the platform of sattva. These are the few qualities of sattva: cleanliness, punctuality, and regularity every day, like that. So in this way, the deity worship pulls the grihasthas from the rajoguna, from especially the tamoguna, sinking energy. I don't want to get up, I don't want to do anything, I don't feel like doing anything now. That sinking energy. The antidote of sinking energy is rajoguna. That's interesting. Antidote of sinking energy is the gushing energy. Antidote of tamoguna is rajoguna. Cannot come to sattva so quickly from tamoguna. That's why when somebody feels dull, sad, depressed, they got to get up, start moving, start doing something. So antidote of sinking energy is moving energy, gushing energy, passion. Yeah. And a regulation of that passion is the sattva. So in this way, deity worship mandates us to cultivate sattva. Yeah? So that's the second reason. And third reason we will hear very soon. As one is being established in the quality of sattva, the deity worship is meant to see the deity in the heart of all living entities. That's what is said in Shastra. That's why this deity worship is the way of worship in Dwapara Yuga. In Dwapara Yuga, the deity worship was introduced. So whatever envy was there, that would be combated by the deity worship. And how does that happen? The worshipper of the deities, they worship the deities so much for such a prolonged period of time that they see the deities in the hearts of all living entities. That is the purpose of the deity worship. We will hear that again soon. Very beautifully, Lord Krishna says that. So this is for a sadhaka. The reasons of deity worship for a sadhaka. And what about the deity worship for somebody who is in Raga Bhakti? Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Yes, Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Gopal Bhatta Goswami, he just had Shaligram Shilas. Yeah. But he was really hoping to decorate his deity beautifully, but it just happens to be Shaligram Shilas. So on the day of Narasimha Chaturthi, one of the Shalagram Shilas, he has had many Shalagram Shilas. One of the Shilas had, Swayambhu turned into a beautiful Krishna form. That's Radharamanji. Then Gopal Bhatta Goswami saw him in the morning when he woke up. His jhula, generally he has that jhula that is tied to the branch of a tree, and all the shalagramas were there. And he was ardently wishing that he could decorate his deity. So he got up in the morning to see that one of the shilas turned into Radharamanju. So, and since from then till today, Radharamanju, he is the hero of Vrindavan, the most handsome, well decorated. The alankar of Sri Radharamanju is unparalleled in Vrindavan from the day of appearance of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And it is said that the fire in the kitchen of Radharamanju is not turned off. It's constantly burning for past 500 years or something like that. So in that case, Radharamanju appeared to fulfill the desire of Gopal Bhatta Goswami, so he can nicely decorate him to his heart's content. So that deity worship is the Raganuga Bhaktas for their, to satisfy their desire, the Lord appears like that. So that's a different level of deity worship. But for the sadhakas, we have heard why deity worship, especially for the grihasthas. Okay, so these are the reasons, these are the purposes of deity worship. Now, when we go to the PowerPoint, we will just see the procedural aspects of deities, how are deities made, how are deities worshipped like that. Okay, so that will be about the deity worship, and we will go into the PowerPoint, dear devotees. So having heard about the deity worship, then these were the questions of Uddhava. He was asking, Krishna, would you please explain us the process of worshipping your deity, qualifications, what is the basis of worship and specific methods of worship, please? And there is a parampara of deity worship too, and you gave that to Lord Shiva gave to Parvati, Brahma gave it to Brahma's son. So would you please explain that? So the Lord started explaining, oh, Uddhava, there are 3 ways of worshipping me in the form of a deity. The Vedic way, the Tantric way, mixed way. The Tantra means it involves rituals. Rituals can be good, auspicious, like bhakti has rituals, right? Ritual is repetition of a process. Every day we repeat the same mantra, right? Because we do it with a purpose, with a prayer. That is why it is becoming a process. If the purpose is not known, it's just a ritual. So Tantra in a general sense means ritual. But a ritual that is done for the Lord, to please the Lord, is bhakti. Okay. So there are three ways of worship: the Vedic way, the Tantric way is the Pancharatrika Vidhi is Tantric way, and the mixed way. Those were just the details. And yes, the deity can be made out of stone, wood, metal, earth, paint, sand, mind also, dear devotees, mind also. That is Manasika. And there are two kinds of deities. The deities made of stone, we know. Yeah, granite stone, like that. Deities made of wood also, we know. I somehow just don't feel like saying deities made of stone, deities made of wood, because we see them as deities. And the deities on the altar, Krishna, on the altar as Jagannath. Yeah, but yes, they are made out of those material elements, and the Lord very mercifully, for our sake, agrees to come and reside in those material elements for us. Those are deities. And the deities can be in two types, the permanent deity and the temporary one. In a permanent deity, once prana pratishta is done, installation is done, is never abandoned. That's a permanent deity. Temporary deity is brought, invited to a place, and then sent away with some rituals. Temporary deity. You know, like this, during Ganesh Chaturthi, this is what I could think of. Nowadays, it has just become so off. So crazy, so crazy. The Ganesh Chaturthi, how big of idols they make, and the reasons they make those idols is so different. But you know, at homes, this Ganesha is made out of mud. And is in his presence is invoked on the first day, and the worship goes on for a few days, and then after that 7 days or 9 days, then the deity, some rituals are done, and the deity would leave that form that was worshipped. Then this form of Ganesha made of wood is mixed in the running waters. So deities like that are temporary deities, like that. So temporary, permanent deities and temporary deities. And how to worship me? Lord Krishna is saying, worship me through the ground, through the deities made of earth, the mud, fire. Worship me through the sun, through the water, and through the heart too. This is really nice. Deities in the heart and deities in the mind. So these are some details of the deity worship. And when a deity worship is done, first an asana is prepared for the deity. And then that asana is purified by the mantras, by Gayatri, like that. And then we invite the deity to please come and sit on that asana. It means inviting the super soul to please come in that form of deity, so we can worship the deity. So that's the preparation, invitation and worship of the deity. And it is also said that when we are worshipping the deities paraphernalia should be worshipped. The Sudarshana disc, the Kaustubha gem, the flower garland, Srivatsakal, like that, and the Lord's associates are worshipped, and the other devatas are worshipped. These are the details. And worshipping the deity form, Abhishek. Abhishek, Alankara, Bhoga offering, and the special sevas like massaging the deities and showing them the mirror to see how beautiful Bhagavan is, so he could see himself. And then dancing for him, singing for him. And these are the uh, offerings that can be offered to the Lord. Mm. And some details about the fire sacrifices. Okay. Why all this? Why this deity worship? Before we go to, we already heard, yeah, in the very beginning, why deity worship. That's actually a good one. Um, See, deity worship can be done to become a king, to become king or to become rulers of three worlds, to go to Brahmaloka, to get Sarupya Mukti, all these things. These are the secondary results. But yes, people do worship for these results also. Though the ultimate goal is to just attain me, says Lord Krishna. Ultimate goal should be to attain me, attain pure devotional service to me, says Lord Krishna. Very similar to why do people chant? People do chant for other reasons too, knowingly or unknowingly. When we have desire sitting in the heart and when we are chanting, at least the devotees, they want to chant for the pleasure of the Lord. Though there can be some desires in the beginning, but they put an effort to chant for the pleasure of the Lord. So their desire is there. Though the pulling can be there, material pulling can be there, the desire is there. Oh Lord, I want to chant for you, for your pleasure. So that's why Srila Prabhupada says, all the devotees are pure devotees because their intention is pure. They know that they have other desires in the heart, but they also have a desire to be pure. So in that way, the devotees are different. At least they have a desire to get rid of these material desires and just to simply please the Lord. In that way, every devotee is a pure devotee. Is that so wonderful? So that should be the ultimate goal of the deity worship. Even Harinam also, right? Our just when we do the Harinam, just with Nama Bhasa, all these results can be obtained. The pleasures of this world and even the liberation, all of them, they can be obtained just with Nama Bhasa. Like one Nama Bhasa of Ajamila, he could get what? The 4 Vishnudutas came. That was one Nama of Narayana with such yearning, because he was leaving his body. The soul is just coming out. So there was nothing in his mind. Nothing. It was just those words of Narayana. So that was Namabhasa. That's an intense call out with nothing else in the mind is Namabhasa. That brought the 4 Vaikuntha Vasis, Vaikuntha Dutas, Vishnu Dutas. So he was going to get this Sarupya Mukti. That's the potency of Namabhasa, Sarupya Mukti. If Namabhasa can give that, what can Shuddhanam give? The ultimate goal of Harinam is for the Shuddhanama. Shuddhanama, love of Godhead, Premanama. That's ultimate goal. But even before going to that, all these desires of material enjoyment or getting rid of the miseries, liberation, all these can be fulfilled just by Namabhasa. So when somebody chants just Namabhasa also, they can be very peaceful. Modes do not touch him, just with the Namabhasa itself. What to speak of Shuddhanama? So Yeah, so this deity worship is similar to the worship of the Nama. Just that it is easier and recommended to worship Nama in this Kali Yuga, since we have so many defects. And the deity worship, this body is not always not always up to performing the deity worship. When the body is deceased, old, then there is not so much of physical strength to carry out the deity worship. Then it is just the worship of the Nama, like that. So because of the limitations in the Kali Yuga, many limitations in the Kali Yuga, limitations of the body, mind, or qualifications, and the paraphernalia needed for the worship, many reasons. This is why Harirnama eva kevalam, especially in Kali Yuga. But these are the details of the deity worship, and this is why deity worship is done. And one thing, dear devotees, before we go on to the next topic, see the deity worship, right? We heard that in Bhagavad Gita too. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yomi bhakta pranashyati tadaham. There, Lord Krishna is saying, Patram pushpam phalam toyam. You offer it, but offer it with love. Asnami prayatatmana. Then I will accept it. So, dear devotees, the question is, here also, this is Uddhava Gita, same thing the Lord is saying, Bhuriyapi abhaktopahritam nametoshaya kalpate gandhodupa sumanaso deepo annadyam chakim punaha. So, sumanaso, yeah. Any small offering is fine, but do it with devotion. Lord Krishna is saying that. So the question is, dear devotees, we do the deity worship, right? Any offering is fine. Aarti offering, bhoga offering, even it is flower or fruit or anything is fine, but do it with devotion, the Lord is saying. And here we are. We struggle to do the deity worship, right? Even at home too, on a daily basis, to offer aarti or to offer bhoga. We do it, but we don't know where the mind is. until we go to the altar place and start doing the aarti, still we don't know where the mind is. The aarti goes on, the bell rings, but we still don't know where the mind is. And here is the Lord saying, do it with devotion, Krishna. Doing with the body itself is becoming so difficult, Krishna. And we have to search for this mind, and the mind has to come, and mind has to stay here, and then the devotion has to come into the mind. This is so a lot, Bhagavan. What do we do? Then what do we do? Here is Bhagavan saying, do it with devotion. So in that case, what do we do? As we just heard, the deity worship calls upon for sattva. So because we are so much in the ignorance and passion, we just don't want to go do the service. It is ignorance. Even if we go there, stand for doing the aarti, we don't know where the mind is. That is passion. But that's the reality. What to do? Then, so because we don't have devotion, do we just leave the service aside? Oh, Krishna, no. There is no devotion in my heart. So I don't think I'm qualified to do this aarti. So I am stepping back. I don't think I'm qualified to offer any bhoga to you because I don't have any devotion in me. Yeah, very similar to the chanting. I don't have any taste for you, Harinam. So it's better not to chant. Why mechanical chanting? Yeah. So it's there is no taste. So maybe I should just stop doing. Maybe there's no taste. Maybe I should just stop doing the aarti because I don't even know where the mind is when I do the aarti. So in this situation, yes, do it with devotion, says the Lord. But what we have in our body that we can move, what we have in our hands is our body. That's something that we can move at least voluntarily. So once we place the body there, then we pray, then the mind comes and the devotion comes. So when the Lord sees our efforts, as we slowly get established in sattva, then the devotion becomes easy. And the devotion comes more easily, naturally. Until then, the service has to go on. Then the mood comes. Yeah. So seva cannot stop because mood is not there. Mood will come. As the Lord sees our seva, the regular seva, He will give us the mood too. Yeah. So that's about the deity worship. That holds good for the Harinam too. Harinam. We cannot really demand. We can pray and do it and show the Lord through our steady, regular efforts, and He will be pleased and He will give us the mood. That's about the deity worship, dear devotees. And now, yeah. And here, after the deity worship, now Uddhava is asking about the Dvaita philosophy. This is more of Jnana. So we come into the second part. We will be hearing about Jnana and Bhakti and how Lord Krishna is beautifully saying that Bhakti is the way to go. We will read the words of Bhagavan in the end. But coming to what is the Lord saying to Uddhava regarding the Jnana. So we have heard about devotional service, deity service, and now coming to Jnana and Bhakti. So we see Upanishads. These Upanishads, Vedas, broadly, they're in two categories, Upanishads. Some of them say Lord has no form. Some of them do say that Lord has form. So, so those Upanishads which emphasize that the Lord has no material form, that is Abhedavakya. There, the Jiva and the Lord, they are considered one and the same spiritually. That is the impersonalism. That is Abhedavakya. That is also there in Upanishads. And other Upanishads, they emphasize on Bhedavakya. Bheda means difference. They say, those Upanishads say, yes, Jiva is spiritual and Paramatma, Bhagavan is also spiritual. Yes, both are spiritual, that's true, but they are different. They are the same but different. Yes, both are spiritual, but the Jiva is originating from Bhagavan, not vice versa. Yeah. So in this way, Bhagavan is different from Jiva because Bhagavan is giving rise to Jiva. So when Upanishads, when we hear the Vedic literature from that platform, that is called Vedavakya. And when we hear the Vedic literature on the platform of there is no difference between the Jiva and Paramatma, and what they mean is there is no difference qualitatively, both of them spiritual, like that. Okay. And Veda Vakya is, especially Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he stressed on this point. Without energy cannot exist independently from energetic. It means, in simple words, it is like this. Okay, from the super soul, soul comes. Okay, you are saying soul and super soul are the same. Agreed, because they are both spiritual. But I am saying that they are different because soul comes from the super soul. In this way, they are different because one is coming from the other. And that is Vedavakya. Okay? And Achinta Veda is like this. The soul is dependent on the super soul. The soul is Tatastha Shakti, right? Super soul. Bhagavan is Bhagavad Shakti. So Tatastha Shakti or Jiva Shakti is dependent on Shaktiman, Bhagavan. So the energy is dependent on energetic. Shakti is dependent on Shaktiman. That is Bheda, Abheda, Tattva. Okay, just a little information about that. And this we will touch base a little later with an example, then it will be easy for us. Okay. Dear devotees, now these are beautiful points for us, for our practice. It is coming under the heading of Jnana Yoga, but there is a lot that we could learn from here, because this is all preliminary knowledge that can help us too. So we will focus on this. Okay, very nice. Now, the knowledge, okay? Don't praise or criticize conditional nature of others. These are some fundamentals of Jnana Yoga, which is worthwhile, which are applicable to all of us because they are fundamentals. So don't praise or criticize conditional nature of others. Not a big applaud or big criticism to any of the conditional natures. I remember our Gurudev, he used to say, don't glorify Maya, glorify Krishna. Don't glorify the conditional nature of a jiva, whether good or bad, because that will change. So be udasina, no praise or no criticism for the conditional nature of others. That has a depth, actually. That is a good one. And a jnani, somebody who is in knowledge, he just sees everything, everybody. This is beautiful. He sees everybody, with no praise or criticism, because he knows that everybody is prone condition. They operate under conditions, they're influenced by conditions. So in that way, he's not too quick to make any statements. Yeah. Second thing is, he sees that the world around is just a combination of different material elements and the enjoying souls. That's true too. Yeah. And if this is what the jnana is, who is in the jnana, path of jnana, this is what they think, this is what they practice in and out. This is their practice, this thought process, to reinforce this thought process, this vision. Yeah. So they see the world like that. Neti, neti. So everything that I see is just an illusion. Yeah. So, and if they are quick about praising or criticizing about the conditional nature of this world or jivas, then they will be deviated from their self-interest. They can get distracted like that. And so Lord Krishna is saying, so Uddhava, that's why one should not be attached to this world which is unreal. One should be detached. So be fixed in the jnana and the knowledge that you are a soul and everything else is unreal. So be detached. It's very dry. This is jnana philosophy, right? So nevertheless, this is all the knowledge. And then Uddhava says, okay, Krishna, all that is, I hear it about the jnana, but I have a question, Krishna. You are saying that everything is an illusion and don't be attached to it. And my question is, Krishna, how did this condition come in place? How did this come in place? Soul is transcendental. That doesn't have any experience of pain, right? And the dead matter, all these material elements is dead matter. So this dead matter, material elements is body. Yeah. Body without soul is just dead matter. It's not going to have its experience. Soul is transcendental and it cannot have an experience of the pain. So how is it the soul is experiencing? So if this is the case, what is experiencing the pain? Soul cannot experience the pain because it is transcendental. And dead matter cannot experience the pain because there is no life in it. So what is happening here, Krishna? Uddhava's question. Oh, this question is a little tricky, twisty, Uddhava. I'll tell you what's happening. It's like this, dear devotees, to simplify this. Again, so Jiva is the Tatastha Shakti. Bhagavan, Bhagavad Shakti. And here is the whole material world, Maya Shakti, all the material elements. When we say material elements, again, all the 5 elements here, Panchabhutas, and they form different bodies in this material world, right? And in these bodies, different bodies, there is subtle energy, the mind, the intelligence, and ego. So in this material world, there are many bodies, and in those bodies are minds and egos. So there are different bodies, means people, right? Images, things like that. So this is the material world here, a combination of all this gross elements and subtle elements, okay? And here is Jiva Shakti, we, the souls. So according to, after Uddhava asked this question, Lord Krishna is explaining. See, Uddhava, the soul here, this is transcendental, well and good. But what it is doing is, say this is the soul, yeah? When this is the soul and this is here, the material ingredients put together forming the images, yeah, and things here. When the soul looks at this material world, then the soul is thinking, oh, this is all happening to me. This is all happening to me. Because in this Maya energy, material world, the subtle body is present, which is mind, intelligence, and ahamkara. And when they're all interacting, what is happening? Lamentation, fear, anger, greed, hankering, like that. So soul, because it is looking at this material world, and which is where subtle body is present, it is described as the soul is dreaming. Looking at this material world, here it is called as dreaming. Soul is transcendental because it is looking at this material world. It is dreaming, and in this dream, it is thinking it has pain. As if somebody has pain in the sleep because of the nightmare. So all these experiences are like a dream. And this beautiful shloka, I don't think I have got this pulled up. This is not here, but this is a beautiful shloka, dear devotees. This is 10:16. It can't be pulled now, but the shloka here. Shoka Moha. In that shloka, all the 10 lamentations are described. And then at last says, why all these lamentations? Why all these dreams? The names of these dreams are, dear devotees, lamentation, fear, anger, greed, hankering, like that. The 10 were listed. And it says, this is all because of I-ness, says the shloka. So this is, I want to really pull it out. Veda base. That's a beautiful shloka. And just give me 1 sec. 10 seconds, dear devotees. That's 11th canto. And this is in Jnana Yoga section of the 11th canto. And this is 16th. Yeah. So I'll say this. This is a beautiful shloka. Yes, dear devotees. This is the shloka. Shoka harsha bhaya krodha lobha moha spruhadayaha ahankarasya drishyante janma mrityuscha natmanaha. Ah, so beautiful. Lord Krishna is saying to Uddhava, oh Uddhava, the shoka, the harsha, bhaya, krodha, lobha, moha, spruha is hankering. So all these are ahankarasya drishyante. It is because of I-ness, Uddhava. Dear devotees, please see. Bhagavan is saying these words. If we are experiencing these miserable feelings within us, unpleasant feeling within us, the lamentation, elation, fear, anger, greed, confusion, hankering, it is all because of ahamkara. Ahamkara means I-ness. I-ness. We say false ego. False ego means I-ness. It means it's a concept, I-ness, yeah. So when it is I-centered, self-centered, yeah, that's an easy way of describing the I-ness. When there is self-centeredness, that's when all these miserable dreams are experienced, Uddhava. Then Uddhava asks, oh my goodness, Krishna, is that so? All these miseries are because of this I-ness, self-centeredness. How can one get rid of this, Krishna? The whole Brahmanda is looking for this $1,000,000 question. How can one get rid of this ahamkara, Krishna, false ego, Krishna? Can you please say? So many souls are waiting for this answer, Krishna, please. Krishna says, yes, I will tell you. This is how one gets rid of the ego. Here in this flow chart, it says, take shelter of Guru. But actually, actual words are worship. Worship the Guru. There. So, yeah, worship the Guru. It is like this. This is how one gets rid of ahamkara. Tat vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadikshanti te jnanam jnanina tattva darshanaha. Pranipatena. You worship a guru. Take shelter of a guru. Worship guru means you have such immense faith in that person that what that person is going to say is going to be your life. In the sense, you have such big faith in the instruction and words of that guru that you want to hear it with all attention, understand and implement it, practice it. And then what happens? Here it is, Lord is saying. So take up the sword of knowledge that you receive from this, after taking the Guru Ashraya. With that sword of knowledge, you cultivate bhakti. It means cultivate bhakti by repeated hearing, reading, sharpening the sword. Basically, what it means is take shelter of this tattva with Guru. Tatvidhi, your duty is pranipatena, take shelter of pariprashnena sevaya, take shelter and serve a tattva with Guru and submit your questions humbly, make humble inquiry. Humble inquiry is something that we do. It means we are ready to receive the answer that is coming, understand it and practice it. Only then the knowledge that is being given The knowledge is received as we serve a tattva with Guru. They impart the knowledge to us. That's the first step. First step is to Tatvidi Pranipatena, is shelter with great faith. Yeah. Second, service. Oh, okay, I have faith in this. I have a question. Can you give me the answer? It doesn't really work like that. Why should they give an answer to us? Why should they? They are not obligated to. Even if the answer comes out with that kind of, attitude, I have a question, can you answer? Then the answer also will be like that. Very much superficial, like that. So, Tatvidi Pranipatena, Pariprashnena, Sevaya. What is your attitude? What is your attitude while you are putting that question? Because that attitude of the questionnaire is like a vessel, and based on how that vessel is, then the answer that is coming will be understood by the questionnaire. So the mood of whoever is questioning decides how much that person can understand what is being said. So the mood is really important. I'm asking, I'll hear what you have to say, and then I'll decide what I'll do. Then there will not be so much of benefit, because with that mood, we only receive information, not instruction. Realization comes when we take the instruction and practice it. That's when realization comes. Otherwise, we may do the bhakti, we may hear again and again for a long period of time. It will be only in the information chamber. But the realization comes when we take it as instruction and practice it. Then the realization comes. So that is how. When the realization comes, then that realization will make us get rid of our ego. Then we will realize, wait a minute. I thought I'm doing this service. I thought I'm doing a great favor to, everybody around. I thought I'm really working hard and doing this service. But now I realize I'm actually going through purification. I'm simply being engaged in service. And people are really tolerating me. That is realization. That realization that comes from within is because we are seriously trying to implement what we have heard from the Tattvavid Guru. So with that realization, the ahamkara slowly goes away. So that is the process for a sadhaka. It doesn't happen overnight. It so much depends upon our mood and wanting to practice what is being said. Yeah. So in this way, ahamkara goes away gradually. And the same thing Lord Kapila said, right? The attachment that we have. Prasangamajaram pasham atmanak kavayo vidu sayeva sadhu sukruto mokshadwaram apavritam. The attachment to everything material is very strong because the I-ness is strong. But when the same attachment is placed on a sadhu, guru, then mokshadwaram apavritam, then they will be qualified for liberation. So these are the ways to get rid of the false ego. So in short, taking shelter of the guru, and then seeking the knowledge from the guru submissively and putting that knowledge into practice, one gets the realization, and slowly the ahamkara will go away. That's a gradual process of getting rid of the ahamkara. But the blessed souls, who are very simple, it doesn't take too long for them. Like Prahlad Maharaja said, right? Iti pumsarpita Vishnu bhaktische navalakshanam. They give themselves to this realized souls very easily. They do the Atma Nivedana. They just they submit themselves thoroughly to a realized soul quickly. And for them, they don't necessarily have to go through the process of following the instruction and then practice it and then get realized knowledge, and then the ego would go away slowly. This is all a sadhaka's process. But for a surrendered soul, again, like Jayananda Prabhu, he did not do all that. He just decided, I am giving this life, my life to Prabhupada, that's it. And he had no more ego from that moment onwards. His real ego was, I am sold out to this Swamiji from India. He's a saintly person. And his ego was, I belong to this Swamiji. I belong to Srila Prabhupada. That was his real ego. So that is Arpita Bhakti. Okay. And here the Lord says, yeah. So this is the answer. How to get rid of this I-ness, which is causing this miserable dreams, Krishna? To that Uddhava's question, this is how you get rid of I-ness. You embrace my-ness of Guru and Krishna, my-ness of Guru and Krishna, then I-ness will go away. So in that way, really, those dreams are not easy to go away, dear devotees. The 10 dreams of false ego, they are not easy to go away. And that's how Lord Krishna says, okay, this is how you get rid of that I-ness, ahamkara. And then beautifully he says, Lord is the only reality. Interestingly, Lord Krishna says, the Lord is the only reality. He's the only one that is present in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end, like that. And he's the only one that is present in the past, present, and future. And he is the one that is present in Turiya, past, Jagruti, Swapna, Sushupti, all that. So these are all the words of, in Jnana Yoga. This is all the knowledge. Are you hearing all this knowledge? And the Lord also says, yeah, Bhagavan, Lord has the 7 qualities. He's self-luminous, unborn, immeasurable, pure, omniscient. He's one without second. And then about the illusion, the confusion of mind. Duality means confusion of mind, no basis. And it is perceived as names and forms. All this explanation of knowledge. So this is all a lot of knowledge as we hear, dear devotees. And it is all very dry, right? Yeah, I understand, but it's all in the air. It doesn't feel like nothing is getting in me. I don't see any change happening in me. Uddhava also, he felt like that, very similar to that. Krishna, this is all good. But, actually, here in the slides it is not mentioned, but the continuation of what the Lord Krishna says here is, after all this knowledge is given, Lord Krishna is saying, yes, this is all knowledge. And to realize this, great souls, they practice this yoga, they practice this pranayama, and they realize all this knowledge. So in this way, the Jnana Yoga slowly moved into Ashtanga Yoga, as Lord Krishna was explained. And at the very end of this chapter, it was, that was the 28th chapter, the Lord Krishna is saying, very similar to the Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter. This is so much parallel, dear devotees. Very similar to how the 6th chapter progresses to 7th chapter in Bhagavad Gita with that verse. What is that verse? Of all the yogis, the one who meditates upon me in the heart is the best of all the yogis. Yeah. That is a transitional sloka there from 6th to 7th. Same here in Uddhava Gita. From 28th chapter to 29th chapter, Lord Krishna is saying, after saying all this jnana part, he says, this is how it is realized through the yoga. One controls the mind, pranayama, and then focuses their attention on me, like that, Ashtanga Yoga. Then Uddhava says exactly the same thing as Arjuna said. What did Arjuna say there? This mind, Chanchalam hi manah Krishna, pramada balvadradan. Yeah. And this mind is very strong and turbulent, Krishna, and it's very difficult to control. Pramada balvadradan. And wind can be controlled. Vayureva Ganavali. The wind can be controlled, but not this mind, Krishna. So please come up with something else that is a little more easier than this. It's difficult for me, Krishna, said Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. Uddhava is saying the same thing too. When Uddhava is saying the same thing, Arjuna is saying the same thing. Can you say something that is doable, Krishna? What else is there for the human beings to further think of and try? And then the Lord says, okay, Uddhava, you asked my favorite question now. I will tell you. I'll tell you about this Bhakti Yoga. This is the easiest process, a natural one. The results are obtained quickly, and this is the process I am endorsing, Uddhava. Already, Lord Krishna says that about the Bhakti Yoga. Same in Bhagavad Gita too. He said the same thing too. So Uddhava, when he was asking Lord Krishna, Krishna, I have heard enough. Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, all that. Now the 11th canto is almost coming to an end, Krishna. So please, would you please come to the very main topic of what do you endorse? An easier one, please. And here, dear devotees, when you see the flow in the Bhagavatam also, Uddhava becomes so natural of him now. He's not in a more of a formal questioning mode. He's like, okay, Krishna, I have heard it all. Now, please tell something doable. And you are very intimate with your devotees, and you give them a lot of ecstasy when they take shelter of you. See, to Brahma, you were so formal. He had to bow down, and his helmets, tips of his helmets were touching the cushion of the cushion where your lotus feet were resting. But you so easily gave yourself to Hanuman and gave him a hug as Ramachandra. So you approach your devotees very intimately, Krishna. So you should be given such deep gratitude, my Lord. Naivopayanti apachitam kavayasta Brahmayusha pikritam rudamuda smarantaha Yo antarbahistanubhrutam ashubham vidhunvan Acharya chitya vapusa swagatam vyanakti. Beautiful. Uddhava is saying, oh Krishna, I don't know how to express my gratitude to you. We cannot repay the indebtedness to you, Krishna. Naiva upayanti apachitam kavayastayavesha. Even the scholars too. O Isha, O Bhagavan, even the scholars too, Kavayas, Nayeva Upayanti Apachitam. They cannot speak about the gratitude, the indebtedness that we have for you. Brahmayushapi Kritam, even if they're given the lifetime of Brahma also, Rudamuda Smarantaha. How joyous is Rudamuda Smarantaha. Rudamuda is even if the joy that they have in expressing gratitude to you, even if they're given a lifetime of Brahma too, they cannot do it, Krishna, because you are so merciful. Yo antarbahisthanubhrutam ashubham vidunvan tanubhrutam. For all the embodied beings, for all these people, ashubham vidunvan, to dissipate, to destroy their inauspiciousness inside out. Antar bahir. What are you doing, Krishna? Acharya chaitya vapusa swagatim vyanakti. You are coming as Acharya Bhagavan. You are coming as Acharya. From outside and from within, Chaitya as a Chaitya Guru. Outside as Shri Guru Acharya. Inside as Chaitya Guru, Vapusa Swagatim Vyanakti. In this way, Swagatim, the path to you, Vyanakti, you are unfolding Krishna. This is a wonderful shloka, dear devotees. Acharya Chaitya Vapusa Swagatim Vyanakti. This is what Uddhava is saying. How can one give back to you, Krishna? From inside out, you are giving this mercy. From within as Chaitya Guru, and from outside as Acharya, Shri Guru. In the Vapu as Acharya. To unfold the path towards you, Krishna. Would you please say about the Bhakti Yoga? My dear Lord. Now Uddhava is being more himself. And then Bhagavan says, yes, Uddhava, this is my favorite topic, Uddhava. Yes, I'll tell you. This is very similar to Manmana Bhava Madbhakto Madhyajimam Namaskurum Mame Vaishyasi Satyam Te Pratijane Priyosime. It feels like we are hearing Bhagavad Gita, but it's the same, very similar shloka. Lord is saying, yeah, Bhakti Yoga Uddhava. Yes, this is how you do. You always remember me, perform the duties for me, offer your mana and intelligence to me. And how do you do that? The Bhakti Yoga? Kuryat sarvani karmani madardam shanakai smaran mayi arpita manaschitto madharmatmano atmamanoratihi. In short, Lord Krishna is saying, do everything for Krishna. Kuryat sarvani karmani madardam shanakai smaran. Think of Krishna when you're doing it. Mai arpita manaschitto. Give your mind and intelligence to Krishna. Madharma. Devotional service to Krishna. Atma manoratihi. With great taste for devotional service to Krishna, think of Krishna when you're doing everything. Do everything for Krishna. Mind on Krishna. Intelligence for Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. That's Bhakti Yoga. And after that, continuing elaboration of how you do Bhakti Yoga. The process is given. And Deshan Punyan Ashrayeta Mad Bhaktai Sadhu Bishritan Devasura Manusheshu Mad Bhakta Charitanicha. This is very good, dear devotees. Deshan Punyan Ashrayeta Madbhaktai Sadhubi Shritan. There are many devotees that have taken Ashraya of me. And they are present in Devas, demigods, Asuras, demigods like Devarshi Narada, Asuras like Prahlada, Manusheshu like Srila Prabhupada, Madbhakta Acharitani. So these bhaktas, they show how to do devotion. How to do the devotional service. Just simply follow them. Mahajana yena katassa pantha. The Lord Krishna is saying that. Of course, we just said in Manushyani Srila Prabhupada, but which is true. But that's the shloka. Yeah, and coming to the crux of the matter, dear devotees. So Bhakti Yoga, do everything for Krishna, think of Krishna, intelligence for Krishna, and follow the Mad Bhakta, the great bhaktas of Krishna, and see Paramatma everywhere. Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mayi pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sachame na pranashyati. This one, dear devotees, this is, you know, the next topic is a very short one, but we want to relish this words of Lord Krishna, word to word. How beautiful are these words? Here just the summary is given. but I'm going to read what the Lord said here. Okay. Steadying the mind. This is the one actually seeing Paramatma everywhere. So that's 12:19. Yes. Okay. Dear devotees, with a pure heart, one should see me, the Supreme Soul, within all beings and also within oneself, to be both unblemished by anything material and also present everywhere. Okay. And then, for him who constantly meditates upon my presence, dear devotees, ears big. This is a beautiful one. For him who constantly meditates upon my presence within all persons, the bad tendencies of rivalry, envy, and abusiveness, along with false ego, are very quickly destroyed. You know, in the village, when an important announcement had to be made, they go with the drum. They go, yeah, your attention, please, an important announcement. The shloka is like that. Because all the miseries, how to get rid of the misery? This is Bhagavan Uvacha. For him who constantly meditates upon my presence within all persons, the bad tendencies of rivalry, envy, and abusiveness, along with false ego, are very quickly destroyed. This is the 15th shloka in Uddhava Gita in the chapter of Bhakti Yoga. Yeah, this is very beautiful. The other shlokas are also very beautiful. But yeah, seeing Paramatma everywhere. And then we just heard. Those are, this is how Lord Krishna was explaining about Bhakti Yoga. Very beautiful one. So, and Uddhava Gita, done. Now Lord Krishna is saying, he assures Uddhava so much actually. Thus I have related to you, both in brief and in detail, a complete survey of the science of the absolute truth. Even for the demigods, this science is very difficult to comprehend, Uddhava. And I have repeatedly spoken this knowledge to you, says Bhagavan to Uddhava. This is how Uddhava Gita is ending, has ended, glorifying Bhakti Yoga. And Uddhava falls at the feet of Lord Krishna. And he says, oh, my ignorance is now destroyed. As if Uddhava had ignorance, as if Arjuna had ignorance. They're playing our roles, of course. And then Uddhava takes this message, coming. This is the very last of the 11th canto. Where did the whole thing start? When Uddhava Gita, where did it start? When the demigods came and said, okay, Bhagavan, Krishna, if you desire so, it's time for you to go back to the spiritual world. Uddhava heard that, right? And then he approached Lord Krishna. Krishna, would you please take me with you? It looks like you are going to disappear from this world. That's when the Uddhava Gita started. And now at the end of it, Lord Krishna says, no, Uddhava, you cannot come. I'll instruct Gita to you now. This will be Uddhava Gita. You have to go to Badrikashrama and relay this message. So back to that now. Now that he has, Uddhava heard everything from Bhagavan, it's time for him to go to Badrikashrama and relay this message. So he headed to Badrikashrama, circumambulated around Bhagavan, and headed to Badrikashrama. And now, what happened? Uddhava has gone to Badrikashrama. Then Lord Krishna came to, along with the most of the Dwarakavasis came to Prabhasa. So those Dwarakavasis that are portions of the demigods, he took them all and came to Prabhasa. Rest of the residents of Dwaraka, they are eternal associates of the Lord, they stayed behind. So Lord came to Prabhasa along with all these Yadus, and all these Yadus, see the iron canes here. So Lord Krishna brought all these Yadus to Prabhasa, saying that, see, now all the bad omens are coming to Dwaraka because of the curse of the sages. So let us all go to Prabhasa. And there we will perform the worship and then do some charity to Brahmanas so we can atone our sins. So saying all that, Lord Krishna brought most of the Yadus here, the demigod portions of Yadus here. And when they came here, all of them, they took intoxication liquor, and they fought amongst themselves with these iron canes that were that came out of the powdered mushala, the iron club that was destined to destroy the whole Yadu dynasty. So in this way, all of them, they were intoxicated, all the Yadus, and they fought among themselves, and they fought among themselves and killed. That way, all those demigods, they returned back to their places in the heaven. And Lord Balaram, after that, Lord Balaram also, he disappeared from this planet. And now Lord Krishna came to this Pippala tree, and he was lying down on Pippala tree, and Lord Krishna's chariot was just besides him. There comes this hunter Jara. At a distance, he looked at the big toe of the Lord, and he thought it was a deer. Really? He thought it was a deer? When such a ghastly fighting was happening there, will there be any animal at all? But he thought it was a deer because it has to be a pastime. And that's why Jara shot the arrow. And what was that arrow made of? The same powdered iron club, a piece of that iron club. That's what his arrow was made of. So that came and hit the big toe of the Lord. And then Jara comes, and he hastily runs towards the Lord. He apologizes. He sees what has happened. He says, "Oh my Lord, what did I do to you? I'm such a puppy. You should kill me. What did I do this?" Yeah. And then the Lord says, "Oh no, Jara, no. This is not something you did. This is what I am orchestrating. So now actually you can go to Vaikuntha, Jara." So Lord Krishna sends Jara to Vaikuntha. And meanwhile, the chariot is there and Daruka comes there. Daruka is the chariot driver of Lord Krishna. So Daruka comes and he offers prayers, seeing the Lord lying down on the Pippala tree. And the Lord says, "Daruka, it's time to wind down my pastimes here. I have to return back to the spiritual realm. So this chariot here, you get onto this chariot, please go to Dwaraka, and Dwaraka will be inundated with this waters very soon as I disappear. So please take all my family members there out of Dwaraka, and then take them to a safe place." So giving that instructions to Dwaraka, to Daruka, Daruka also, he was tearful. He was tearful and sobbing, and then the Lord says, "No, nothing to be bewildered about this. These are all my pastimes. And this is also, Maushala Leela is also a part of my pastime. And this has to happen now. So I'm winding down. So you please go." Then Daruka, he offers prayers and he goes to Dwaraka. And then the Lord is about to disappear. And the demigods, along with Brahma, Shiva, everybody arrived at Prabhasa. They all were crowded in the sky, showering flowers with devotion. Lord looked at all of them and he closed his eyes, fixing his mind within himself. And like a thunderbolt, he disappeared. Nobody could see that except Brahma and Lord Shiva. In this way, the Lord disappeared from this world, winding down the pastimes. And dear devotees, here it's not enumerated, but about the Maushala Leela. Why did Lord Krishna orchestrate the Leela like that? These Leelas are very bewildering, cannot be understood by conditioned souls, but few things that Acharyas mentioned. Our understanding through the Acharyas is few reasons are the Yadus, some of the Yadus, they started behaving whimsically, and the Lord did not like it. So he wanted to end that whimsical behavior, even if it is in his own family. That's one reason why he had to do this Maushala Leela. And also to show the lesson is that even if it is his family members, when they ridicule these Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, the Lord will not tolerate it, because Shamba and other children, they were mocking it, Narada, Vishwamitra, all those munis there, and the Lord did not like it. That's one thing. And the other reason was, though Lord Krishna was born in Yadu dynasty, he is the Godhead. But just because he's born in Yadu dynasty, not everybody in the Yadus can be considered as God. Yeah. So they cannot be attributed Godhead or Godhood to them. So in order to show that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and everybody else is perishable, that is one of the reasons for Maushala Leela. And the last reason Acharyas gave was the Yadu dynasty was humongous. It was huge, millions. But the Lord wanted to show whatever it may be, however amazing and fascinating that you might see in this material world, one day or other it has to disappear, to show that truth also. So these are the reasons from the Acharyas explaining why this Maushala Leela has happened. And the closing statement of this 11th canto would be, such are the bewildering pastimes of the Lord. As if there is no place to appear for him in this world, he is born in the prison out of all places. And as if he is really scared of the conditioned jivas on the war, palayanam, he was ranachor, he acted as a coward on the battlefield. Really? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, he acted as a coward on the battlefield. I mean, we can understand if he's shivering in front of Mother Yashoda when she shows a stick. That is understandable. But here on the battlefield, running like a coward, oh, does that really happen to Supreme Personality of Godhead? Does he really have to take birth in a prison house? Does he really have to run away from a battlefield? And regarding the Vastraharana Leela and so many gopis, really, does he need so many women for the sense gratification? He's an Atma Rama. Does he really need the gopis? What is the tattva behind it? Yeah, and the disappearance Leela. What is this disappearance Leela? How puzzling is it? And how enigmatic it is. Not easily understood. Supreme Personality of Godhead, a conditioned soul just releases a arrow and then he leaves the body. Really? Supreme Personality of Godhead? Who has sent the Jara to Vaikunta? Whoever has released the arrow, yeah, the Lord could send Jara to Vaikunta, and he appears to have a mortal death. How enigmatic it is. How puzzling it is. How to understand this. And that's why Lord Krishna says, Janma karma cha me divyam yo mam vetti tatvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mamso iti arjuna. So all this is to be understood on the platform of tattva with the knowledge of the absolute truth, that he is Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha, that he is the definition of God, as the first shloka of Srimad Bhagavatam says. That will be a very befitting shloka to honor this 11th canto, to honor the tattva of Bhagavan. Janmadyasya yadho anvayati tarataschardeshu abhijnasvarat Tene hridaya brahma adi kavaye muhyanti yat surayah tejo vari mridam yada vinimayo yatra trisargam risha dhamna svena sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi. He is param satyam. That's the sattva. That's the tattva. That's the tattva of the Lord. Param satyam. He is the one who is the creator, maintainer, destroyer, and cognizant of everything that is existing, materially and spiritually, either directly or indirectly. He is Swarat, he is independent. He has such a capacity that he can enlighten the heart of Brahma, at the same time could put all the demigods under illusion. And his Dhamma is always effulgent and is very conspicuous by the absence of ignorance. So he is Bhagavan. And these are all the pastimes of Bhagavan. So knowing this tattva, we understand these pastimes of the Lord. That's all, dear devotees. 11th canto. Yeah, we honor the 11th canto in that way. So, quick points. What did we hear today regarding the deity worship and the purpose of deity worship? For a sadhaka, we have heard that to drive away, to get rid of that I-centeredness. And second thing is to come to that platform of sattva. And third one is to see the Lord in all living entities. And those are the ones. And for a Raga Bhakta, we have heard about Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Yeah, those are that's the purpose of the deity worship. And then we heard about the service and mood, right? The mood will come as the service gets steady. As we start the service, we can strive for the mood. We can pray for the mood. Strive is something, mood. So the service should go on as we pray for the mood. That's about the deity service. And then coming to the Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, all that was heard. And regarding, the dream, the miserable dream, how to get rid of that false ego. Lord Krishna says that, right? That is take shelter of the Guru. And when we take up the instructions and put them into practice, then the realizations come, and then the ahamkara slowly goes away. That's what Lord Krishna said here. And there we also heard about how the souls who are ready to submit themselves to a realized soul can quickly get rid of their ahamkara, and they can do the arpita bhakti. That also we have heard. The Jnana Yoga. And Bhakti Yoga, and how the Bhakti can be performed. Yeah. Mm. And after that, so this Uddhava Gita, actually Uddhava, he goes to Badrikashrama after the Uddhava Gita is all done. But just before the Lord had to disappear, after the Dwaraka is inundated, just before the Lord disappeared, Uddhava comes back actually. He heads to Badrikashrama, but he doesn't go all the way. He was missing the Lord so much. So he heads back to see the Lord under Pipala tree when he was lying down here. That was under Pipala tree. And the Lord asks him, Uddhava, you haven't gone? No, I was in so much of separation from you. I had to come back to see you. Here, it is said that the final part of Uddhava Gita was given. And this part of Uddhava Gita is much more significant than the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam. Yeah. So it is said like that. And this is how it gets. This is when Maitreya Muni comes there. And he also hears this. And this is what Maitreya Muni explains to Vidura in the third canto. Yeah. So this is where all the pieces put together. So Uddhava and Maitreya both hears here. And after this is done, Uddhava heads to Badrikashrama. Maitreya Muni also goes there. And Lord Krishna disappears. And remember in the very beginning cantos when Vidura comes and asks Uddhava, would you please tell me about the pastimes of the Lord? Then Uddhava says, actually, if you could please go to Maitreya because I have the service to go to Badrikashrama. He says that. And that's how the third canto starts. Those pieces are there. And that's all, dear devotees. And also we heard some reasons of why Maushala Leela has happened and how everything needs to be understood in Tattva. That's all. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you all, dear devotees. 11th Canto ki jaya, Uddhava Gita ki jaya. Something